Hi, horse friends. Today's video is about one of the most unusual officiating controversies we've seen in international eventing in quite some time. It's a story involving incorrect course measurements, changing optimum times, rider confusion, multiple result revisions, and an intervention from the FEI that ultimately overturned the final placings after the competition had already concluded. Even more remarkably, longtime Olympic gold medalist, course designer, and horse and hound columnist Mark Phillips says he has never seen anything quite like it. So what exactly happened at Royal Jump in France? Why were the results changed more than once? And what does this incident tell us about the importance of accurate course measurement and communication at FEI competitions? Let's take a closer look. Royal Jump has become an increasingly popular international event held in France, attracting competitors from across Europe. This year's event included several FEI eventing divisions, including both the CCI 4-star long and the CCI 4-star short. Many British riders made the trip because it fit nicely into their preparations. On paper, everything looked straightforward. But once the cross-country phase of the CCI 4-star short began, problems quickly emerged. The controversy centered around something that sounds incredibly simple: the length of the cross-country course. In eventing, the published course distance is critical because it determines the optimum time. Riders carefully plan their pace strategy based on that figure. Go too slowly and you accumulate time penalties. Go too quickly and you risk unnecessary pressure on your horse. At the upper FEI levels, even a handful of seconds can completely change the final standings. According to reports, riders questioned whether the published course distance was correct. Officials remeasured the course and discovered that it was approximately 247 meters shorter than originally published. That is not a tiny discrepancy. Nearly 250 meters represents a significant difference on a cross-country course and naturally results in a different optimum time. Officials adjusted the optimum time to reflect the shorter measurement. Unfortunately, that was only the beginning of the problem. Not every rider apparently received or understood the revised timing information before competing. Some continued riding according to the original published optimum time, while others rode using the updated figures. That immediately created uncertainty about how the competition should ultimately be scored. Initially, Storm Striker appeared to have won the CCI 4-star, short after the revised optimum time was used. Then everything changed. The results were altered again, using the original published optimum time instead, causing Storm Striker to drop from first place all the way to fifth. Imagine being told you've won an FEI 4-star international competition, only later to discover you've actually finished fifth. For any rider, that would be incredibly frustrating. But the story wasn't over yet. The FEI became involved and reviewed exactly what had happened. After examining the circumstances, the FEI ultimately reversed the revised results and reinstated Storm Striker as the rightful winner of the competition. According to Horse and Hound, the FEI concluded that riders were responsible for attending the riders' briefing and understanding the revised information that had been communicated. Because of that, the FEI chose to uphold the results based on the remeasured course rather than the original published distance. Regardless of whether people agree with every aspect of that decision, the FEI's intervention brought the matter to a close. But for many people inside the sport, the bigger question remained: how did the situation arise in the first place? That is exactly the issue Mark Phillips focused on in his Horse and Hound opinion piece. Phillips is not simply another commentator. He is an Olympic gold medalist, an experienced FEI course designer, and someone who has spent decades designing and evaluating cross-country courses around the world. His perspective carries significant weight within eventing. Rather than criticizing the FEI's final ruling, Phillips questioned how such a major discrepancy could occur when numerous experienced officials were overseeing the event. He pointed out that at Bramham course, measurements between the course designer and technical delegate differed by only a few meters. By comparison, Royal Jump's discrepancy was measured in the hundreds of meters. Phillips wrote that during more than 40 years of designing courses, he had never experienced a difference anywhere close to that size between himself and a technical delegate. That statement alone illustrates why this incident has attracted so much attention. This wasn't a disagreement over 5 or 10 meters. It wasn't even 50. It was nearly a quarter of a kilometer. Phillips also emphasized another important point. The FEI places considerable emphasis on teamwork among officials. Course designers, technical delegates, ground juries, and organizers all have defined responsibilities intended to provide checks and balances throughout an event. According to Phillips, somewhere within that process, something clearly broke down. His conclusion was blunt. Someone failed to do their job, and riders ultimately paid the price. That observation raises a broader discussion, extending well beyond one competition. Modern FEI events rely heavily on precision. Today's eventing competitions involve GPS technology, digital timing systems, electronic scoring, detailed course plans, and highly standardized procedures. Yet, despite all of those systems, the sport still depends upon accurate human verification. Someone has to physically measure the course. Someone has to verify that measurement. Someone has to calculate the optimum time. Someone has to communicate any changes. And someone has to ensure every competitor receives identical information. If any of those steps break down, confusion can spread very quickly. For riders, optimum time is not simply another statistic. It directly influences tactical decisions throughout the cross-country round. Some riders may choose to travel slightly faster over certain terrain. Others may steady their horses approaching technical combinations. Those decisions are based on knowing exactly how much time is available. Changing the optimum time after riders have already prepared creates obvious complications. That is one reason why communication becomes absolutely essential whenever any official modification occurs. Another interesting aspect of this story is that the FEI chose to review and ultimately reverse the competition results after they had already been changed once. That type of post-competition intervention is relatively uncommon, especially when final placings have already been announced. Phillips himself noted he had never previously encountered a similar situation. For many competitors, consistency is just as important as the final decision itself. Athletes need confidence that scoring systems are reliable, transparent, and applied consistently from one event to another. When results change multiple times, even if officials ultimately reach the correct conclusion, it can undermine confidence among riders, owners, and fans. Fortunately, no report suggests that horse welfare was compromised by the measuring error itself. The controversy centered on scoring, officiating, and competition management rather than the safety of horses and riders. That distinction is important. Nevertheless, fairness remains a cornerstone of an international sport. Every competitor deserves to know they are competing under the same conditions with the same information. One additional point from Phillips' column deserves mention. Despite criticizing Royal Jump's situation, he praised the organization and atmosphere at Defender Bramham Horse Trials, highlighting course designer Andrew Hefferman's thoughtful approach to designing questions for horses while maintaining both challenge and empathy. In other words, Phillips wasn't criticizing eventing as a whole. He was drawing a contrast between an event where systems appeared to work smoothly and one where they clearly did not. Looking ahead, it will be interesting to see whether this incident prompts any procedural reviews. Could there be additional verification of course measurements before competition begins? Should revised optimum times require written confirmation delivered directly to every rider? Could digital notification systems reduce the possibility of competitors missing important updates? Those are all reasonable questions for organizers to consider. Mistakes can happen in any sport. The important issue is learning from them so they become less likely in the future. For now, the official record reflects Storm Straker as the rightful winner of the Royal Jump CCI 4-star, short after the FEI reinstated the original corrected results. For now, the official record reflects Storm Straker as the rightful winner of the Royal Jump CCI 4-star short after the FEI reinstated the original corrected results. But beyond who stood on top of the podium, this incident serves as a reminder that even something as seemingly straightforward as measuring a course can have enormous consequences. In elite equestrian sport, accuracy matters, communication matters, consistency matters. And when those elements fail, the integrity of competition is inevitably questioned. Hopefully, the lessons learned from Royal Jump will help strengthen procedures at future FEI events and ensure that riders can focus on what they came to do, competing on a level playing field. Thank you so much for joining us. And remember, I am not AI. If you listen closely, you can hear me breathing.